Right, embellishing a melody. So first things first, the melody that you're going to embellish, you need to know. Okay, so you need to know it in its most basic form. A lot of the melodies we've been learning or will learn, there's sort of a really basic version using just sort of crotchets and quavers in a kind of very easy format. But you need to know the notes of the melody and you need to know where it goes, what it does. So step one, learn the melody. Step two, the first thing you can do is elaborate on the rhythm of the melody. So keep the notes that you know and change the rhythm. Now with this you're relying on your musical ear. So you have to keep the pulse of the structure going, of course. You don't want to lose your place. So start by changing the rhythms slightly. So let's give an example of that. We've learned Autumn Leaves in a nice easy form. So let's just change the rhythm but keep the same notes. Example. Okay, so you heard I was pulling it around a little bit, delaying bits, pushing forward with other bits, repeating some long notes, but it was still obviously Autumn Leaves. So have fun doing that. Go around it lots of times, try out different things, maybe try and stray away from the pulse and then always come back to it. Internalize, really listen to the thing you're playing along to, whether it's a metronome or a backing track. The key really is to keep the key notes in the same places. So for example, the Autumn Leaves, you're hitting that concert E flat on beat 1 of the things like that. Keeping those in the same place will stand you in good stead with not losing your place. Okay, so step 2 is to embellish some notes using other notes. So we can use the notes either side of a note using kind of ornamentation, I suppose. So let me demonstrate that. So there I kind of went up or down to notes either side, maybe up another one, but I'm keeping within the kind of the diatonic scale here. So although I'm not, you don't need to know the changes so much. You can use your musical ear to work out. I mean, it's pretty obvious in this one that we're sticking to kind of concert B flat major scale or G natural minor scale, which is the same thing. So I'm using those bits, and then when we get to the D7 chord that's got the F sharp, I'm keeping that in there, which is in the melody as well, but around that area I'm keeping those notes in there to fit the chords. But it's kind of more, I'm using my ear to do that. Okay, and then you would have noticed then I kind of was adjusting the rhythms as well. So again, spend a lot of time consciously doing variations of those things. There's lots of other things you can do. You know, with this particular tune, you've got this shape of the first phrase, which is da da da, all in step, and then a jump, and then that same phrase comes down. So you've got those jumps. So maybe you could think about filling in those intervals. Again, keeping it kind of diatonic. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm using the scale to fill in the gaps, making it more linear rather than those big jumps. You could. This is in a minor key, and a blues scale really suits minor keys. So we could play the melody with a blues in mind on those minor chords. Okay, so you could take it section by section like I'm doing, or you could go, keep going onto the bridge, try out different things with the same approaches. The only rule really is that, I'd start by making the melody recognizable, keeping it recognizable throughout. And obviously you can stray further and further away, which essentially is how jazz started. Louis Armstrong would embellish melodies and take it further, embellishing them until they would become an improvised solo, but always kind of referring to the melody in which they're based upon. So have the melody in mind, in the back of your mind when you're doing this. I'm going to play through the whole sequence now. Really listen to the kind of things that I'm doing, and really think about what it is. I'll try to make it obvious sort of what I'm thinking whilst I'm playing. Okay, so I kept it relatively simple. I had some blues licks in there. Had that in the bridge. I had those two kind of guide tone lines going up that I was manipulating. But I'd say it was still very recognisable as Autumn Leaves. So we can stray away from that, of course, kind of using other things like the licks we know, the harmony, and we can essentially start to create solos based on the melody. But again, always keeping the melody in mind. Typically we'd embellish melodies sort of after a solo, once the piece has got had all the solos going, and then we play the head out. That's when you're sort of expected to embellish the melody a little bit. So try it on some melodies that you know really, really well. You can change the rhythms, embellish some notes using, start by just either side. Then you can use more diatonic, scalic things. Have fun, basically. Have fun manipulating the melodies, and record yourself, listen to them, think about how you can improve them. Enjoy.